Good morning and welcome to today's session on SME growth coaching. And today's theme is business coaching to maximize the potential of SMEs, your potential. We are delighted you could join us today for the session, which will be facilitated by Invest in Africa and International Coach Federation, the Kenya chapter. We are delighted you could join us. Briefly, before I talk about the objectives of the session, I'd like to introduce Invest in Africa, particularly for those who may not yet have had an opportunity to interact with us or to meet with us. We are a private sector partnership initiative, and what we mean by partnership initiative is that we are an organization made up of a diverse group of key stakeholders, which includes multinationals, large corporates, SMEs, donors and development partners, financial institutions, and SME associations and different government agencies. Therefore, this partnership initiative is working towards driving economic growth. And for us, this is job creation, which is possible by catalyzing the growth of SMEs. So we catalyze SME growth through three main initiatives. That is access to skills, where, for example, this session we are facilitating right now is really for you to understand coaching as one of the tools that will enable you to, build your own resilience, build as a business leader, build the resilience of your enterprise, as well as set up any kind of skills that you may need to get your business to the next level so that you can sustain jobs as well as create new jobs. Our second initiative is access to markets, where we have built an online technological platform called Biashara.now. And here our various partners who we call buyers. This can either be corporates or large SMEs with a procurement budget. They post opportunities such as tender opportunities for SMEs to apply and engage in, so that then we enable trade between you and these large corporates by granting you the access to market opportunities. Our third initiative is access to finance, where we are also supporting you in partnership with our financial institutions to access the finance that you need for your business to deliver to the contracts you win, either on Biashara.now or to recover and build back after the pandemic. Thirdly, those are our three main initiatives. We are working with a vision of prospering African economies, and we have a very ambitious target of creating 1 million jobs through linking SMEs to $1 billion of contracts through our Biashara.now platform. So we are delighted you could join us today, and we are very sure that in partnership with ICF and with all of you, we'll be able to make good progress and impact towards positive impact in our country, which is mainly job creation. So getting to the session of the day, these are the objectives we are looking at. So first and foremost, the partnership between Invest in Africa and International Coach Federation of Kenya was really aiming to support recovery and resilience of SMEs, because as we all know, all organizations have been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think it is fair to say from the scientific research and expert opinions put out that SMEs have been hardest hit by the pandemic. Yet, SMEs are really the engine of any economy, particularly in Africa. And through supporting SMEs, therefore, both Invest in Africa, Kenya, and International Coach Federation Kenya are striving to create positive impact in the economy. And at this time, that looks like both sustaining jobs as well as job creation. So ordinarily, we have been talking about job creation, but we all know that after the pandemic has hit, sustaining jobs has also become a key resolve and objective of any economic drivers. So today's session has the following objectives. First, we would really like to further demystify coaching. We've already had a previous session with International Coach Federation Kenya chapter to demystify coaching, but today we'll be getting just a bit deeper to ensure that you understand what coaching is, you understand how the impact it can bring to your organization as a tool for recovery and building back better, both for you as a business leader as well as for your enterprise, for your company. The second objective is to present an opportunity again for both SMEs as well as coaches to express interest to participate in this initiative, which is Coaching for Business Growth, So if you're an SME, you can express your interest, and we'll be directing that at the end of the presentation on what's next. You can you can express your interest in being coached as an SME, or you can express your interest as a coach to supporting SMEs through coaching. And at this moment, I'm really delighted to welcome the ICF Kenya team to take us through the session of the day. Welcome, Kathy and team. Very delighted to be joined by you today.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure for us to be here and to partner with you along this journey, and also to try and figure out how do we maximize our potential as SMEs, as businesses, as individuals, and doing this in partnership. My name is Kimunya Mugo, and I am part of the ICF Kenya team. I'm actually a member of the ICF Kenya Charter chapter, and I will be just helping us set the scene for today. So in this segment, we are going to look at a poll. We are all going to participate in a poll, and this poll is going to look at who we are and what our challenges are. And why is this poll important? Because it's going to help us get into the next, to a session where we're going to have some breakout rooms and discussions around those challenges. So you will have coaches who are going to join in these groups, in these breakout rooms, where we're going to have a discussion around those challenges and possibly start thinking about the way forward. So my colleagues will also share, one of my colleagues will share with us how coaching works, what coaching is, and how it can address these challenges. But apart from that, we also have one of us in the SME stage who is actually going to share with us his experience of what coaching has done for himself and his business. And then we'll go, after we come back from our breakout rooms, we're going to have a roundup session, and then we're going to chat the way forward. So with that being said, I want to welcome my colleague Kathy to take us through the poll for today. Kathy, over to you.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome. It's really a pleasure to be here with a really wonderful team from ICF Kenya. I'm going to put up a poll, and I hope you can see it. And what we want to know is, what are your challenges as SMEs? We've given you 10 choices. We're going to ask you to kindly choose up to 3. So given where we are, what we're able to go ahead and have you select, and given the number of people who were able to complete it, most of you identified that attracting and retaining customers is your biggest challenge, followed by maintaining profitability and scaling for growth. Interestingly, no one picked the bottom ones, except a few of you said you didn't know. So we look forward in our breakout rooms to hearing a lot more about this. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Joanne Kabiru, who's going to tell you more about coaching, and specifically, what are the opportunities for SMEs when they get coaching. Joanne, over to you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for taking us through the poll, and it is my pleasure to be here and to be able to share with you a little bit more about what coaching is. So to start with, I will give a definition of what coaching is. Coaching is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires the client to maximize personal and professional potential. You will note the keywords there, of course, is the potential, and of course with that will come the maximizing of your performance. Some of the major challenges addressed in coaching for SMEs have been highlighted within the poll. I think I will repeat the poll statistics just for us to remember them. One was the attracting of clients at 36% and maintaining profitability at 28% and securing finances. Those were the top 3 in our poll today. Others that we have identified are managing competing demands, having new roles, the well-being of mind and body, relationships, be it at home or in the workplace. Leading on to that, of course, is the burnout, stress, or even anxiety, as well as life issues that occur just generally around us. For example, family, caregiving, or handling transitions. Another important question that tends to come out is the difference between coaching and mentoring. So within coaching, it is driven by the clients. It is driven by the clients. Okay, the difference between coaching and mentoring. So for coaching, it is driven by the client. Then we are also bound by the code of ethics. As for us who are with ICF, we are bound by code of ethics, one of them being confidentiality, just to ensure that it's not compromised on whichever side. And then on top of that, we do use techniques and models to be able to assist you to attain your goals. Whereas for mentoring, it is based on the mentor's experience. So what tends to happen with the mentor is that the experiences are being shared, both from the mentee's perspective and also from the mentor's side as well. One important thing to note is that, and it's become a common query with almost everyone that we encounter, is whether you can have the two together. And yes, you can have the two. In fact, it will make your life quite enhanced and very effective in whatever that you are doing. All right, moving on, we go to the benefits of coaching based on statistics that we have been carrying forward. So from an ICF survey that we conducted, the largest ones are increased self-confidence at a rate of 80%. Of course, another one that will come out is work performance will be improved. Your relationships, as we had mentioned, some of the challenges that will be handled. So you can see the feedback that comes out is that the relationships become improved, as well as the communication skills. That is at a high of over 70%. And for those companies that decide to invest on coaching, either for their employees or team members, there is a recoup of the investment that you have made at a high of 86%. Okay, another survey next that is done by the Simpson. Another survey done by Simpson also showed on the leadership, particularly leadership. This is geared to the leadership. What are the benefits that were seen there? There is improved personal skills and behavior. There is better work-life balance. You're able to balance between home life and work. Your decision-making is more enhanced. Interpersonal skills also becomes improved. Careers are planned way much better. And the best too is there's increased confidence and enhanced self-awareness. All that comes out of coaching when your self-awareness of self becomes quite heightened and you realize why particular actions are taken, either for or against, based on what. All right, one final survey to support that again. Yes, so this was specific to SMEs, 2,000 of them, on business innovation. So the feedback again was quite impressive, that over 80% agree that decision-making becomes very improved. Also, a high of almost 90% saying that the business strategy becomes much better. Then the expectation of being able to make progress. You know, sometimes you'd wonder whether you're making progress or not, or even if there is the possibility. So the expectation at 84% that the firm will proceed better, the organization will proceed better. And further to that, 95% would recommend coaching for their teams and also for themselves. So without further ado, Going on to the next slide, without further ado, we are going to have an SME experience given to us by one of the SMEs, Mr. Chai. Chai is going to give us his feedback. That is the best way to explain it, is hearing it from one of us, who has experienced the coaching. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. It's my pleasure to now share with you the experience of Mr. Chai Mulay. He is the co-founder and CEO of Mchanga, Africa's largest online fundraising platform, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He's unable to be with us today, but has recorded some remarks for us to hear. And you will bear with me as we do this as best we can. And I hope the sound is going to be good. So Chai answered 3 questions for us. Who is Mchanga, and how did they use the coaching?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chai Mulay. I'm a co-founder of Mchanga. Mchanga is an 8-year-old mobile fundraising platform that allows individuals and organizations in Kenya to raise funds for causes from local and international supporters. These causes could be everything from medical emergencies to education drives to COVID-related support, things like that. So a wide spectrum of causes. And to date, our core team of 8 have helped over 850,000 people to use Mchanga to raise funds for these causes. So executive coaching assisted Mchanga in 2 fundamental ways, one in the area of dispute resolution and the other in the area of competency identification. So I'll start with the dispute resolution. So at some point in the 2nd year of Mchanga, we had fundamentally disagreed on the direction of the company, and especially on the human resources required to grow the company or for the next steps of the company. And as for all early stage SMEs, startups, it's quite an emotive environment. So coaching helped us as founders, myself and my co-founder, understand some of our primary motivations, right, as individuals, and in terms of where we thought the company was going and why. And this allowed us to narrow what we thought was a massive rift between the co-founders to really just 2 areas that we disagreed on. And so then the mediation that then followed afterwards was possible because we managed to identify some action points. So in terms of dispute resolution and then how you can get around that, executive coaching was extremely important for Mchanga. In the next year, right, in the 3rd year, we also hit a milestone where we needed executive coaching again. For most SMEs, by the 2nd year, now you're in your expansion drive, right? And hopefully you have all the right roles and all the right competencies aligned. Most will probably not have that. So, for us in year 3, we found ourselves like most SMEs with co-founders doing everything and not really understanding our core competencies or how we fit in the grander scheme of the company's future. Coaching got us from 2 co-founders that were doing everything from admin to tech to general operations to a company that had a CTO, a CEO, and a general manager, and really just allowed us to expand. And we would not have gotten there without the assistance of executive coaching to kind of identify, our strengths and weaknesses. So I'd really encourage most SMEs to really understand, how important this lesson is. So what are some possible misconceptions about executive coaching? Well, I'd say for us, we thought that executive coaching was literally something that was, for much bigger and developed enterprises with big established departments and big human resources. But, the truth is that, any organization, 400 people or, 5 people, you'll generally have to be making the same decisions, similar trajectory. So, a misconception was that it didn't really apply to startups. I would argue now that it's probably most important for startups to really embrace executive coaching for their planning and for their future. It really does help smooth things over.
So again, the words of one of your own, Chai Mulay. We thank him for putting together that video. And I'm going to turn it back over to Kumunya, who's going to proceed with just putting us into breakout rooms and also into the discussions.
Great. We are now going to proceed into our breakout rooms. Brilliant. In the interest of time, a good chunk of us are back. At this time, we are going to hear from the breakout rooms, and we'll ask the people who are reporting back to just take 2 to 3 minutes, just give us highlights of what came out of your discussions. You're just going to go through it through this session group by group. So we'll start with group 1, breakout room 1 to 6. So I welcome group 1 to just give us a highlight of what came out of the discussion.
Thank you. I'll report on behalf of Group 1. Some key issues is that SMEs sometimes run businesses as a hobby. So coaching can possibly help to turn this hobby into an actual sustainable business, moving what are transactional relationships, so a relationship where you make some money, casual clients, but turning them into sustainable relationships again for the business to continue with growing your customer base. The ability for organizations such as IIA to move from doing and to facilitating. So facilitating within their network, SMEs and service organizations that bring the knowledge that they need to the SMEs to make them into sustainable businesses again. Thirdly, coaching can help move SMEs from gaining knowledge. We're told that SMEs sometimes move from various programs to one program to another program to get information on building their businesses, but never get to the point of actually implementing the knowledge that they have received. So coaching would help to get them off this treadmill and onto the racetrack, that's the analogy that we use. Get off that treadmill of getting knowledge and move to the racetrack where you're actually running your race towards the prize that you want to gain. Another one was that coaching can help SMEs pivot in times of crises such as COVID, where they can pivot either to putting their businesses online or indeed to new businesses or how to sustain their businesses, looking at how to prioritize their resources and also help with their focus. So helping SMEs think about their focus, what they want to do, and get them to strategically think about their visioning process as well. So that's from Group 1.
Thank you very much, Susan, for that concise and precise report. Group 2, or breakout group 2, who's reporting for that group?
Thank you. So I was in Group 2, and the challenges that we have come up with or we shared among our group members, one of the main is the challenge to do with access to finances. Now, on this issue, has come out clearly that most of the businesses are small, and of course, when they go to the banks, they are asking the history of the business. You know, when the business you are a starter, well, that's what we have concluded. When you are a starter and you don't have a very good history, and maybe you are a hustler, something that's the word that has come out clearly. You don't know, you need some skills, you need all this, and now at the same time they need you to provide some history of what is this that you have been doing, and at the same time you are a starter. So it's a challenge. How do we get finances when you are a starter and you have not yet gone into business for long? Another issue that has come up is how to maintain the team for long. You know, hiring and firing every now and then, it's also a challenge. So how do coaching now come in and address these two issues? That is the issue of finance and also maintaining your team. We have seen that the solution to financial access, mostly a financial problem, is an underlying issue. We have an underlying issue to the business itself. And so as in coaching, we'll come into your business and we find out what is it, because finances is just a sign of the main issue that the business is going through. So we are going to come and screen or even analyze your business so that you can find out exactly where the problem is. And especially even in learning in business, this is another learning space. And of course, we need some skills, and that was the main objective of this partnership. We need to equip ourselves as business people with the right skills and the right competencies so that we can run and maximize on our potential. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zainab, for taking us through the Group 2 findings. And without further ado, let's move on to Group 3.
Yes, hello everyone. I will be reporting on Group 3. We were 5 participants and 2 coaches in Group 3, and it was actually quite a diverse group. We first elaborated on the challenges and on the reactions on the different challenges. It was very clear that the team members had different challenges or prioritized different challenges. Where struggling to get new customers was one of them for sure, finances as well. So we elaborated on that. An interesting observation that came around that discussion was that the challenge around profit and growth is actually cutting across the other challenges, because you kind of need to balance between finances, investing, but at the same time you need to make profit. So you're spending money, but at the same time you want to retain your profit. So, and that was about embracing technology. Are you now going to buy into new technology? Are you able to retain your profit? So that was an interesting observation that came across shortly. And then the second part of the breakout room was mainly around how coaching can then help to overcome those challenges. What was interesting was that a few participants had already experienced coaching, either as an internal setup or an internal coaching intervention, or with an external coach. So that was interesting to hear. And the participant mentioned that it's a coach is not emotionally connected to the business and is therefore able to facilitate the process more neutral, in a neutral way. And the coach will be able to actually walk with you on eye level, walk with a coachee through the thinking process for an SME. There, as an SME, especially new SMEs or just business startups, have so many things on their plate. And that is actually something that we've heard before, that a coach can help them actually in this jungle of doing a little bit of this. Often there are one-person businesses or two-person businesses, so they're juggling a lot of administration and departments and things. So a coach can help them to actually find clarity in that jungle of different tasks. So a coach can also help. One participant mentioned it can also bring clarity about what is actually holding me back, and that comes together with the emotional attachment. So a coach can help them identify, okay, this is actually holding me back from moving forward. So we had that before, that this is bringing the coachee and the SME on the speed lane, the coaching intervention, that is. And another thing that was mentioned is what I found very interesting, and which is very true, that as so often there are programs that are pre-described, and it's actually put over as a pre-described strategy plan or structure or concept, and coaching will be able to start from scratch in a blueprint without any other preset concepts, and it will be able to find a solution that is best for the person as the SME as such, and not off-the-shelf solution. That is very true and very interesting. So in short, to summarize, it will be able to identify what works best for that particular SME. The coach will be able to walk the SME or the coachee through and get action points down and to actually get things done. It will help to find clarity in the jungle of all the things that are surrounding the manager, give direction and put puzzle pieces or help put puzzle pieces in a whole picture to be able to get on the speed lane. I hope I've mentioned most of the key points. I would like to ask my group members to add anything that I've left out or that I have that needs clarification.
Thank you, Rita, for that overview of Group 3. And I think without further ado, we have 2 more groups. So let's go to Group 4. The rep from Group 4, if you could just present. Joanne?
Yes. So I was in Group 4. We were a total of 8 attendees, including 1 coach in that session. Very good to note is that 2 of them have already been mentored, or 1 is even going through the mentoring, but none of them had the experience of a coaching experience. So quite a number of questions came up, especially where the coaching experience is in relation to. Some of them, I will just give a highlight of some of the queries that came out, and we were able to address them within the session. Is how do you know when you've picked the right coach? Do they have to have experience of the sector or the business that they are doing? One had even gone through a meeting and they had another person talking about the coaching for SMEs and being told that it is very important for the business to have the coaching experience. Another one is how is the practical done? How is the implementation done after you've had the coaching session? All right. Another good question that also came out was, is there a particular coach for every segment of the business? For example, from the start of the business to the middle of the business to a business that's actually taking off. Is it that you have a coach for every segment? Of course, there was the explanation that sometimes even the coach is not necessarily aware of how that business is running, but the coach will walk you through the journey when you're doing the business together. I mean, through the coaching experience. That question on business actually even went to a level of sector-based. Is the business coach a sector-based business coach, or is it simply a business coach? Then finally, is two other queries that came up was how long does a coaching session last for any business, as well as how do you differentiate the business coaching versus the personal coaching of the individual in this particular scenario. Yes, but other than that, there was positive feedback that this session is a welcome session. It's a welcome initiative and it is appreciated because it demystifies the coaching experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne, for that summary. And let's move on to Group 5, last but not of course, the least.
Yes, I'll be reporting for Group 5. And in our group, we had 3 SMEs, Munene Gidura, Susan Nganga, and Nick Nyaga, and we had 3 coaches. I will address the 3 challenges that came up initially. Those were the challenges of our working capital. This is for somebody in the branding, promotional branding and experiential area. Then there was the challenge of growing the business. And in growing the business, we looked at the aspects of marketing and meeting production, that is in the feeds area. And then there was also the challenge in terms of, the third challenge was getting customers who take the products. And this is because it's a product that's new to the market, yogurt with aloe vera. We went ahead and looked at the aspect of how can coaching help overcome some of the challenges. And one of the suggestions was, it's either you hire people who are trained and qualified, or you get people and then train them. And one of the SMEs actually had an experience where they brought in a coach who trained the sales team. However, the greater beneficiaries, because it's a product that's new to the market, the greater beneficiaries were actually people who were the sales team. They benefited, but when they met the customers, they would agree that the price is too high. After that, later you can also get a professional to work with you. Then we had some good observations from the SMEs. the realization that even if you're an SME and capital, the bank says you're at risk, there are other ways of trying to get the resources, and this came from the SMEs. You can look at other sources of financing, like go for microfinance or get investors, or you have also an opportunity to join an incubation center. We went further and asked what would success look like for the SMEs that we were working with, and they felt success would be, they seem very clear on what success would be for them. For example, getting a way forward on if it's an app they need to develop, and also knowing the number they need of people they need to hire the next 4 years. And in the area of specialty, a new product coming in and targeting men who are not easy to convince to spend money is having customers call the client and say, I've used your product and it has worked for you. So that was our group. I don't know, Munene or Nick, would like to add something? Other coaches? I'll try to summarize.
Oh, there is a sixth group. My apologies, Jackie. If you could just go ahead and represent that sixth group. My sincere apologies.
No problem. So in the group we had entrepreneurs in the agriculture, transport, printing and signage, as well as real estate sectors. And we asked them what challenges they were facing that they believed could be resolved through coaching interventions. And they broadly had operational issues, financial management, recruitment and retention, as well as access to markets and that kind of thing. And they also talked about relational issues, how to work well together as co-founders. We were able to also discuss the fact that a coaching intervention goes beyond the transactional. So it's not just about helping to equip you with skills to manage those operational issues, but really going beyond that and helping you to perhaps review your belief system so that you have the right mindset to help you unlock possibilities that are available to the business. Joy was the other coach in the session.
Great, thank you, Jackie. And as I was mentioning earlier, the need is there, definitely a need there. But the question is, or the challenge for us is, are we ready to put the skin in the game? And what are we going to be celebrating at the end of these engagements as SMEs? So without further ado, I want to hand over back to Kathy, to take us through the wrap-up. Kathy?
So thank you for all of those questions and thoughts. We will be sure to review them. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we answer those in the next session. And you'll also be getting a copy of the recording and some additional information. I just want to acknowledge the team that was with me today. That included Kimunya Mugo, Ronald Berkhuizen, Dr. Mbithe Nzaya, Zainab Njoki, Anne Wangundo, Britta Wolfkammer, Susan Banda Mudiwa, Joy Lalantare, Lucas Maranga, Joanne Kabira, and Jackie Wasikik Stihanya. I think I got everybody. So thank you all from ICF Kenya. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Terry and the team from IIA.
Thank you very much, Kathy, and thank you indeed to Team ICF Kenya. It has been a wonderful session, and we have learned, every session continues to give us better clarity as SMEs on the role of coaching and how coaching will be able to impact our business as we are all now aiming to recover and build back better. So I know I speak for many SMEs when I say thank you to Team ICF. We are delighted to have this partnership to move forward together, and we can't wait to see where we shall be a couple of months from now in terms of gaining traction with our businesses. We also invite you all to connect with Invest in Africa. We are based in Bush House, Nairobi Bush House, which is on Kabarnet Road. Kabarnet Road is off Gong Road, just almost across Coptic Hospital, for those who would know. So we would like to hear from you, and we invite you to connect with us. So once we are filled in, I'd also like to give thanks to the teams, both teams who have been behind the planning, both from Invest in Africa and ICF Kenya. Thank you very much for putting this together for our SMEs. We thank you, participants. Without you, there really wouldn't have been this session. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to continue working together, to continue supporting you as you recover, as you build back better, and for all your SME needs.